Okay. About time we get to the industrial park. I don't think there's much left to do in the game at this point, but we'll find out. First things first, I'd like to not be one hit from death in the industrial park if I can help it. Second thing, so this might be the only time we get to see the rest of the industrial park. I don't think you're ever actually required in any way to do the loop, strictly speaking, to go forwards up until you end up back on the main path here in the industrial park. And if I do go there, I'll have to somehow get back to the main, get back to the rest of the world as well, because the entrance to the industrial park is this annoying spot where it's pretty far away from any bus stops or anything, so I don't really want to go there. You know, it would be nice just to show off every last bit of my favorite level in the game, so I'll have to think about that. It's gonna be at these platforms are all timed specifically so that I don't actually have to wait for them. Yeah, didn't think I was gonna make that jump. That floating is very nice. I haven't abused it that much, even though I guess I just got by without ever needing it in the PSP version. Well, without ever needing it, like a strong way of putting it, but I would have benefited from it. I didn't need it to actually get through the game. So I guess I'm just used to not using it here. Oh, come on. I don't think there's too much more land to cross to get to the patch from this point. Really placed pole. I'm still very deliberate about jumping backwards off those things. And whoops, we couldn't figure out how to get you to platform from here to the next part, so we're just going to teleport you there instead. Flying away up into the sky still seems like overkill to me. I have to actually go on the right here. I'm curious how much ground that covers when you teleport there. Because I believe what happens here, the layout of Industrial Park is essentially that you have two lines side by side. At any given point, the camera is facing outwards. So the camera is between the two lines, facing outwards in one of the two directions. So when you start, you go down one line in one direction, and at one point you turn around. And you start going back the other direction. By the time you loop around back to the entrance. Ugh. Whew. Jeez. Stupid circles. By the time you loop around back to the entrance, you've gone essentially the full length of both of those lines, because you went all the way out in one direction, then came back in the other. But I'm curious if you skip a bunch of ground when you do that teleport there, that I did just now. Feels weird drawing a rightwards arrow to go left. We go. Really, you'd think I'd remember this part a little bit better since I actually had to do it multiple times. Like 3 even, I think, since I tried to come here a couple times and I was not able to actually do things here. Back in the PSP version. And I didn't remember it taking so long to get to the factory room here. We should be close now, because I believe it's all metal around there. Huh. Interesting background there, so you've got the actual... You got a plane of green goo stuff below me, but then you've got a background with a bunch of goo stuff on it too. You kind of try to get them to mix together. Well, it's not goo stuff, it's sand. The way it moves in the background makes it look like, especially the way it doesn't quite line up with the ground close to me, it looks like it's flowing, kind of. There we go. Factory. I've checked out the go already? This game's a little premature sometimes, I think, when it comes to this sort of thing. Do you have to come back here again afterwards? Because there is something else to do here. And just whatever that goo is. Numbers. Okay. Check that out in a second. The missing fuse. I believe the fuse is in Industrial Park. I think it's just a bit to the right. Probably need the fuse for that. That's the go. You'd think it would actually be like on the floor, but it's kind of sticking up a little bit in a weird way. Alright. Hello? Oh, you need to actually restore power first, I imagine. But the fuse, I believe, you can actually acquire as soon as you get the ability to teleport. As soon as you have that second last ability, actually. So I think, yeah, even the first time you come in, no, you can't get all the way over here yet if you don't have the all of the abilities. There you go. But I found this one here. The first time I came into the second section of Industrial Park. We're not going to go off to the right yet, because that's going to take us back to the entrance. Which, there's really no actual reason to go back to the entrance to begin with, but... just to show it, I might. It's just that I'll have to go back through downtown, or work my way to the bus stop halfway through the Industrial Park. Factory of what, by the way? I feel like you see that a lot in games. It's just a factory. Doesn't make anything. And why do we want to restore power? Precisely? Or fix broken machinery? And what is this machinery? Actually, I have curiosity. Okay, there we go. I was just curious what would happen if you actually press things in the wrong order. Switch has this weird habit of just sliding idly when I'm not telling him to move. He snaps back into place. It's fixed, I guess. Alright. That's, nice. I have no idea what I just did. I think this was the case last time I came here, too. And the game tells you to do stuff, but what and why? Like, why did I just fix stuff in the factory? And I don't really see how that was fixing anything to begin with either. Nor power. The machine is still working, in fact. You might have to come back here yet again. In fact, I don't quite remember. We'll leave it all off for now. Supposedly. It's still doing stuff. It's not a very rigid machine, strangely enough. Alright, but just to see everything there is to see in the game, I guess, even though we've seen it already in the PSP version. I suppose I'll head on through this path here. It's not really much special to see here, admittedly, but although, I mean, would it be any faster or slower? There you go. I don't know if it would really be any faster or slower to go this way versus any other way at this point. Because we're still a ways out from the bus stop here in Industrial Park anyways, even if I didn't just loop back to the entrance, because I would still have to work my way all the way back to the bus stop, so it's more that I was just in a spot where there is no quick way back to town to begin with. I guess I'll take the overpass here though. That's our fastest way back, I think. And our goal is Mermaid Man, which actually is precisely where this thing will take us, so that works out just as well. Actually, funnily enough, we don't even need a teleport then. We don't need to use the bus stop, we'll just walk directly to Mermaid Man, because there's a fairly direct line there. Ammo. I'm still not sure it's really necessary to hit the civilians like we do to save them from the dirty bubbles, but you're the superhero, not me. Oops. Finger slipped, quite literally. Apparently if you're crouching and you press left or right, you will stop crouching. Oh! You'll stop crouching, but you won't really move. Okay, so I'm holding down and mashing left and right. You can move slightly. You don't move enough for it to be useful, but you also stop crouching. So it is a detriment if you needed to be crouching. That's great. Are there any enemies here? I don't remember. Drawing circles is hard, man. Now then. Get rid of this guy. Who's gonna now start chasing me. By get rid of him, I mean just go past him. Because I do not need to deal with that right now. And back to Shady Shoals. I don't think I'd ever want to hear a retirement home described as shady. So what was the point of turning off the freezing mechanism again? Like, it didn't even unfreeze or anything, it's still all there. And what's in there now? Man Ray's not in there anymore, apparently. I also appreciate the game doesn't actually come up with a justification for you to go into the factory. Mermaid Man just says his intuition tells me you have to go there, essentially. You'd think someone would recognize that. That's the time rush? Oh, belt's back on. Or going back to the sea needle. Oh, it's just over there. Oh. Yeah, so the sea needle is the final boss. Huh. Okay. Kind of a random thing for the final boss to appear that just comes off your belt. I forgot about that part. Next episode though, final boss I guess. We'll actually finish up the game. If I can get there in time, because it'll take me a minute to get there. Guess I'll have to go through downtown, but we'll see what we can manage. Bye everyone.